Please kindly start, Dr. West.
Okay, ma'am. Today, the topic of my presentation is plagiarism and the use of Turnitin software. The quote of the day is success is no accident, it is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. The learning outlines of today's presentation is introduction to the plagiarism, its types, and how to avoid plagiarism, why to avoid plagiarism, and how to check plagiarism, and the use of Turnitin software. The learning outcomes are, at the end of this presentation, participants will be able to describe about plagiarism, its types, ways to avoid it, its penalties, and the use of Turnitin software. Now, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is the act of presenting words, ideas, thoughts, images, sounds, information, or creative expression of others as your own. Now, the types of plagiarism. We major divide the plagiarism into two categories. One is the intentional plagiarism, in which the sources are not cited, and the other are unintentional plagiarism, in which sources are cited but still plagiarized. We will discuss them one by one further. Know the types of intentional plagiarism in which the sources are not cited. The first one is global or complete plagiarism. It is a type of plagiarism in which we copy entire work and represent as our own work. Now the next one is paraphrasing plagiarism. It is also known as the labor of laziness, in which we paraphrase a piece of text, sentence, or paragraph in our own words. Paragraphing is not simply rearranging or wording any original passage. Correct paraphrasing consists of reading the original passage, understanding what the original author is saying, synthesizing the information, and then expressing the information in their own words. The next one is the poor disguise. Although the writer has retained the essential content of the source, he or she has altered the paper's appearance slightly by changing the keywords and phrases. The other one is verbatim plagiarism, which is also called the photocopy or the copy and paste plagiarism. In this, the writer copies significant portions of text straight from a single source without alteration and submits as his own work. There is another plagiarism, type of plagiarism, which is related to verbatim, that is the ghost writer. In this, the writer copies another writer's work word for word and submits it as his own. The next type of plagiarism is mosaic or patchwork plagiarism, that is also called the potluck paper. In this, we copy ideas and thoughts from different sources and putting them together to create a next new text and representing that text as our own text. The other is the self-plagiarism, that is also called the recycler or the self-stealer. In this, we reuse our own work which we have previously published. Know the other kind of plagiarism, that is the unintentional plagiarism, in which the sources are cited but they are still plagiarized. The number first is accidental plagiarism. In this, we in unintentionally committing the plagiarism when the written text is checked and it matches with already published source, or in unintentionally paraphrases the sources. The other one is forgotten footnote. In this, the writer mentions the author's name for a source but neglects to include specific information on the location of the material referenced. This often masks the other forms of plagiarism by obscuring source locations. The other is the misinformed type of plagiarism. In this, the writer provides inaccurate information regarding the sources, making it impossible to find them. The other is the too perfect paraphrase. In this, the writer properly cites a source but neglects to put in quotation marks text that has been copied word to word or close to it. Although attributing the basic ideas to the source, the writer is falsely claiming the original presentation and interpretation of the information. The next one is the resourceful citer. In this, the writer properly cites all sources, paraphrasing and using quotations appropriately. The paper contains almost no original work. It is sometimes difficult to spot this form of plagiarism because it looks like an other well-researched document. Know the plagiarism scale. The plagiarism will be the minor one when the paraphrasing is not done correctly, and it will be the major one when we submit someone else's original work. Plagiarism also includes, but is not limited to, the using published work without referencing. It is the most common type, and copying coursework essays, collaborating with any other person when the work is supposed to be individual, or we take another person's computer file or program, or we submit another person's work as our own, or the purchase of model assignments from whatever course. And the second part of the presentation is how to avoid the plagiarism. First one is the citations. We need to cite others person work, words, ideas, and phrases that are used directly or indirectly in our paper, regardless of whether the information is in a book, article, or website, and whether it's text or a graphic or an illustration, chart, table. It needs to be cited. The citation components include the name of the author, the date when it was published, the title of the paper, the page number, and the source. Cite every source of information unless it is common knowledge or the results of our own research. Now, the second part of how to avoid plagiarism is the quotations. Always use quotation marks around the text that has been taken directly from the original source. A quote should also need to be cited. No adding paraphrases to avoid plagiarism. Paraphrasing is rewriting a source ideas or information into own words without changing its meaning. Paraphrasing can slip into plagiarism if it is done incorrectly. While paraphrasing, the writer is still using another's idea, so it needs to be cited. The other form is that we present our own idea. Instead of parroting the source ideas or words, explore what you have to say about it. Ask yourself what unique perspective or point you can contribute in your writing that's entirely your own. And the next is form of how to avoid plagiarism is by use of a plagiarism checker. While conducting research on a topic, some phrases or sentences might stick so well that inadvertently include them in writing without a citation. When in doubt, using an online plagiarism checking tool can help catch these issues. There are several plagiarism checkers online that scans text for borrowed content. These tools let you know whether or not parts of your writing are plagiarized. We will discuss the content later on. Now, this is the systematic diagram which shows how to avoid plagiarism. If we are using our own words, then if we are using our own words, then it is our idea or not. If it is our idea, then we are not plagiarizing. If we use not our idea, then we need to paraphrase and then add citations at the end. And if we are using quotation marks or placing it in a block quote, then we are not plagiarizing. But if we don't use quotation marks are placed in a block quote, then we are plagiarizing, and we need to quote it and add the citations. Now, the next part of the presentation is why to avoid plagiarism. We need to avoid plagiarism because it is an ethical issue. It comprises our integrity. It loses the respect of our mentors and peers. If we submit plagiarism work, we are committing the theft. It costs valuable professional referrals and future career advancements. It may result in losing financial aid or leadership roles. The source can take legal action against us. Now, there are the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan guidelines for the penalties of the plagiarism, which states that plagiarism is an intellectual crime. It, it is the intellectual standing of the offender. and there are many punitive actions against them. If the Plagiarism Standing Committee, in its recommendations, depending upon the seriousness of the proven offense, will advise the competent authority of the organization to take any one of the combination of the following disciplinary actions. If the plagiarism is the major one, then the penalty will be the major ones. It includes the dismissal from the service. They can blacklist us, and we are not be eligible for employment in any academic or research organizations. If the plagiarism is the minor one, then they may issue a warning, or they will freeze all our research grants, or the promotion annual increments of the offender will be stopped. Higher Education Commission or the university organization may debar the offender. Know the Turnitin software. Turnitin compares papers to a vast repository of data to deliver originally reports in just a few seconds. The Turnitin web crawler scans the indexes new and the existing content from the web in Turnitin database. The paper is compared to millions of books and publications, over 45 billion web pages, and 337 million student papers. It is a paid software for online checking of the plagiarism. These are the uh, accepted file types in the Turnitin software. Know the benefits of the Turnitin. It detects plagiarism before it happens, saves time in investigation of the originality of the student work. It allows for efficient citation verification. It provides documentation of any leaked plagiarism. Now, when we know this is the picture of the Turnitin software, when we submit our paper, it gives us report that whole similarity index is present in our paper. Like in this paper, the similarity index is 76%, and if we our view its details, then they show them as it will highlight many paragraphs, sentences, or words in different colors, and will also issue them the numbers. These numbers and colors will indicate from which sources these sentences, paragraphs, or words are taken. Like in this paragraph, it is taken from the www.post.my, and it also indicates that how many percentage of our paper is taken from that source. Know the term from the MCQs. The first MCQ is, while researching your paper, you come across an article that contains a persuasive paragraph arguing your point of view. You rewrite the paragraph in your own words. This is called
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing.
yes, the correct option is the paraphrasing, because in paraphrasing we read the article and then we represent in our own words. The next MCQ is, which of the following describes the plagiarism? First option is making up quotes and sources to support your paper's thesis, collaborating with another without the instructions authorization when preparing an assignment. The third option is using another person's ideas, words, or other creative work without citing them as the source, or all of the above.
C.
Yes, C is the correct option. The third MCQ is drawing information or content from the work of another without acknowledging the source by citing a reference is considered to be plagiarism in all of the following cases except the first option is using the exact words of the author, using data that the author has compiled through his independent investigation, using information from the author's work that is regarded as common knowledge in discipline, or the last option is reproducing in your paper a chart contained in the author's work. Which one is the correct option?
D.
Uh, C is the correct option. Using information from the author's work that is regarded as a common knowledge in the discipline. Uh, Plagiarism does not come under if the knowledge is the common, and we do not need to give citations regarding it. The fourth MCQ is, why is it important to cite all the sources? You should not cite any sources. It does not matter if you cite your sources. You want to give credit to everyone that deserves it. You want to take all the credit.
D.
C.
Yes, C is the correct option. We always need to credit everyone that deserves it. The fifth MCQ is a researcher copy ideas and thoughts from different sources and putting them together to create a new text and representing that text as your own text. Which type of plagiarism is he committing?
A.
C.
C is the correct option, the patchwork plagiarism or the mosaic plagiarism, in which the researcher reads many articles and then represent that idea into his own words. That is called the patchwork or mosaic plagiarism. Now this is the true or false. Is it acceptable to copy and paste a sentence written by someone else into your paper and simply add quotation marks around it? Is it true or false?
True. True.
Yes, it is a true MCQ. Thank you.